Today's top 3 tasks are working on my manuscript for the Rajput, finances, and recording this video. I want to touch a little bit on the money aspects of writing and publishing a little today. When you're creating a business plan for your publishing career, it's a must. You have to dedicate time to think about the money aspects of writing and publishing, which might not be obvious when you are starting off. And I know a lot of you who are watching my videos might not be at that stage where you're making consistent income from writing and publishing. Well, neither am I, but we are all working towards that goal, right? We all want to make money from writing. If you are going to wait to start making money from your writing to think about how you're going to manage it, I think it'll be too late, and that could cause a lot of stress and anxiety. So start thinking about these things as early as possible. But what does that look like, you might be wondering? Let me show you. Start tracking monthly expenses when it comes to writing and publishing. List out all the things you're spending money on right now that are for your writing and publishing career. So that would be stationery, writing apps, editing apps, books that you buy to learn about the craft of writing. If you're spending any money on any type of social media platform, that's to build your author platform, like scheduling apps like Later, or your website, your domain. If you're attending workshops or taking any courses, track all these expenses. You'll find a lot of free Excel and Google Sheets templates that you can use to track these expenses. This is what I use. This is my business dashboard in Notion. In this finance section, I have a quick link to spreadsheets where I track my expenses, my budget, and that's the next thing, budget. If you aren't already, I'd recommend creating a budget for your writing and publishing work. This will not only help you plan your usual expenses, but also help you anticipate the expenses that will occur in the near future when you are ready to publish, ready to hire an editor, work with a cover designer, and work on your promotional activities. If you want to buy a writing software, or you want to set up your website, a writing workshop that you want to attend, budgeting will allow you to look at the cost for all these things and how you can spread out the cost over a few months and save for it. I get a lot of messages from fellow writers and authors who say they don't have money for promotions. And my answer is, neither do I. I don't have money lying around that I can just pull out and throw at marketing. I try to be very mindful of how much money I can spend and where I want to spend it. I know that I want to try a lot of new promotional things with my next book, The Rajput, and so I'm saving money for it, and I'm tracking all this in a Google spreadsheet. So when it comes time to preparing my marketing and promotion budget, I can look at the spreadsheet and see how much money I can put towards all this. I'm a conservative when it comes to money and spend only what I have. If I want to spend something that I know is going to cost me a lot, I start putting aside some amount in my budget and save up for it, sort of create a sinking fund for that large expense. That's the way I prefer to do things, and that's what I'd recommend. If you are making money from your writing, keep a track of it. Any money that you're getting from, say, Google AdSense on your website or royalties, track it in your monthly income. When you're starting off, you'll feel like there is no point doing this, or even feel defeated. I often do. I feel defeated every time I do this activity because you're spending more than you're making. I like to remind myself that it's more about the practice of tracking things. Things are slow right now, but when things ramp up, like during a launch, basically when I'm scaling up, I don't want to then spend time thinking about these things and thinking about what I need to do and how I need to do and learn how to do these things. I want to look at my past self and say, thank you for doing the groundwork. Getting into this mindset is going to help you a lot when you are creating your author business plan and thinking about the production cost of each book. It's crucial to understand that it takes a lot of money to produce a good quality book. And as an indie author, it's important for us to try to get the most out of our money because we are the publishers and we have to bear all that cost. If you want to know the various costs that you might incur while you self-publish your book, I have shared my process in these videos, so you can watch them to get a sense of what all you'll have to consider while self-publishing your book. And when you've been tracking your expenses, your income, you know how to budget. All these things will be very handy to project the viability and profitability of each project. The other benefit is that you'll be able to use the input and the practice of maintaining these data for sales projection. The point is to not start doing everything on day one. You want to build that practice and allow yourself that time to understand things, educate yourself on the things that you don't know or don't quite understand in its totality, just like you do in any other career. Coming to my financial goals for 2022, it's a little scary and intimidating to set my financial goals for my writing and publishing. I don't know what this year will look like financially for me, but I feel it's important to have this conversation. Financial goals don't only mean making a certain amount of money. Of course, that's 80% of it, I'd say, but the other 20% should be about the other things that affect your financial goals. If you don't know what your expenses are, how much you make, where you are spending versus where you should be spending. Maybe the first part of our financial goals should be to educate ourselves and lay out a system for ourselves. And I'm planning to dedicate this whole year to setting up a system to help me track everything. I spend a substantial amount of money on my writing and publishing career, and even though I have been tracking these expenses, things are all over the place. Different layouts, different files, different folders, and even different hard disks. So the first task is to just pull in all the data and finding a system that works for me. Thankfully, I've been testing a lot of different systems and I have narrowed it down to what I want to use right now. I don't want to go all out and get an expensive system to manage all these, even though I know it would be easier and faster, but I don't have the budget for it right now. I will in the future, but not right now. And I know this because I have a budget. I know my spendings and how much money I have to play around, so to say. Then I want to give about 3 months to settle into the new system, and I will have gone through 3 cycles of pulling in data from KDP and from my bank accounts and how that is populating in my new template. Remember, I have about 3 hours a day in which I have to write, do my YouTube and other social media things, and all the backend things and admin things like setting up this tracking system. So it's not possible to spend a whole lot of time on this every single day, which means it'll take time. And so I have to spread it over this whole year. I might finish all this early, but I don't want to rush because it's not urgent. The other thing that you can do if you're not in the early stages of your writing and publishing career are have an income goal, and if you have your sales data, you'll be able to use that to project this. So you have your sales goals, which will then drive your launch strategy, your marketing and promotion strategy. These are on the narrow focus. Then you might also want to think about taxes, insurance, investments, paying off debt, increasing your net worth. Those are broader financial goals which we should all be thinking about, whether writing is a career or just a hobby. Alright, I'll finish updating my Google Sheet and then get back to writing, and I'll see you in the next one.